So today we'll be discussing our topic, wounding words, and this topic is very much close to my heart, and we'll discuss how it is and how, by having deeper understanding about this discussion, how our words can be wounding for so many people, knowingly or unknowingly, and how we can safeguard ourselves by not misusing our words but properly using them for right purpose. So in the Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, Arjuna asks one very interesting question from Krishna. Arjuna says, Atha kena praktoyam papam charati purushaha anichan api varshneya balad iva niyojitaha. What is Arjuna saying here is, my dear Krishna, what is that force within me which impels me to act sinfully as if by force? I do not want to engage into this particular habit, particular action, particular behavior, particular kind of a thinking, but I ended up being forcefully doing it. What is that force? So, how many of you think that at different times, in different situation, in different circumstances, we end up doing something which we do not want to do, and later on we repent about it? We have some sort of a bad feelings about it. How many of you think that it is true for us? That was true for Arjuna 5,000 years back. So how many of you think it is true for you at different points in your life? That we do not want to act sinfully, but we end up acting in a way which is not true to our identity, which is not authentic to us, which we do not want it to do at a first place. But later on, we repent, we feel guilty, we feel, why did I do that? I will not do it again. But again, when the forces come, situation comes, you again end up doing that. I'm seeing so many messages here. It's true for Rajni ji. Yeah, it's true. It's true for me at least. So then Krishna explains the answers and he goes on to explain more things. So what action Arjuna means here is there are three levels of actions: the action in the mind, the action by the words, and the actions by physically acting out. So, karmana manasa vacha. So, words are one of the action that we do, and sometimes we end up using our words in such a way that it hurts people. Although they are very close to us, they are very loving, they are very caring, and we have so much of affection for them in our heart, but we end up hurting the same very people. We don't want to do it, we don't feel good about it, but we end up doing it. Although we do not, although unconsciously, although not by any willingness. So, why do we end up doing it? Let us dissect it, and we'll be discussing something very interesting today. And we'll also give you the solution for sure. What is the solution of all these difficult situation what we come across in our life at the different junctions? So what happens is sometimes we underestimate the power of our words. We think, I just spoke, right? I mean, it doesn't really make any difference. It is not a very big thing that just I spoke something. Why are you making so big of a fuss about it? Right? We think like this. I spoke certain things, that's fine. I didn't really mean it. But we don't understand that how much power our words has. And especially it is said for a Brahmana person who is following the Brahminical principles, a Brahmana not by caste, a Brahmana by Brahminical qualities. If he speaks certain things, it actually comes true, and he need to be very, very careful of his the power of his words. And it is true for everybody at different levels, different degrees. So in the beginning of Kali Yuga, so Kali Yuga is about, we are already into 5,000 years into the Kali Yuga. In the beginning, in the just about when the Kali Yuga was about to begin, the whole world used to be ruled by one king, and the last king was Maharaj Parikshit. You might have heard about Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of the whole world and is a grandson of Arjuna. So Arjuna was the one who heard Bhagavad Gita from Krishna directly, and Maharaj Parikshit was the one who heard the whole Bhagavatam from Sukdev Goswami. So now, once the Maharaj Parikshit was touring the whole kingdom, he ended up being in one forest. In that forest, he became very thirsty, and he goes to one hut, and there was one sage, Shamika Rishi. He was performing austerities, he was doing meditation, and he was feeling very thirsty. And as a king, he expected that this sage will get up, offer him some water. But he did not get up from his meditation. So he became a little disturbed, Maharaj Parikshit, and he put a dead snake in the neck of this Shamika Rishi, this sage Shamika. And then his son, who was named as Shringi, he could see, because he was, although he was playing a different part, he could see that his father got disrespected. So at this point of time, Shringi, the small boy, the son of this great sage, felt very offended that this Maharaj Parikshit had put a dead snake on the neck of his father. So at this point of time, Shringi misuses the power of his words. So what was the misuse of his power, of his words? He cursed that in 7 days Maharaj Parikshit will die. So basically, he cursed Maharaj Parikshit, who was a king for the whole world. Just imagine, a small boy, Brahmana boy, could curse the emperor of the whole world. And Maharaj Parikshit came to know about it, that he's going to die in the next 7 days. And although he had a power to counteract the curse, but he did not do that. He accepted the curse. It is said that at this point of time, because this Brahmana boy misused his power of word by unjustly cursing the Maharaj Parikshit, that was a beginning of Kali Yuga. That was a beginning of this dark age. That was a beginning of decline of Brahmanical qualities. You could just see he was a boy and he didn't realize how much power his word has, and he misused the power of his words and he cursed Maharaj Parikshit. That became the decline for the whole Brahmanical race. That became the rise of Kali Yuga, starting of Kali Yuga. So we can understand similarly, sometimes we don't realize how much power our words has, and we speak certain thing to somebody and his whole entire being get disturbed. Sometimes the whole life get disturbed, the whole relationship get disturbed. So realizing, understanding that our words are very powerful, do not misuse them, and always be responsible the way we speak. Because if you're not responsible the way we speak, then what will happen eventually? The darkness in our heart will enter, the darkness in our relationship will enter, and the darkness in that person's life will enter. Sometimes very innocently we make certain remarks which end up being very hurtful for other person. It seems like a curse, isn't it? So how many of you feel that certain thing you spoke, it, although we spoke not like a curse from our side, but it appeared curse to other person and it became a curse for your relationship? How many of you think like this, or how many have experienced it?
Yeah, Prabhu, we have experience of it. At least I am.
Thank you very much. So now let us move to the next part. Okay, now the words are very powerful. We need to be very careful how we use our words. So now, if you see, let us bring one more story from Srimad Bhagavatam. So all of you know about Dhruva, a small boy Dhruva. At least all of you know the pole star, that is also known as Dhruva Tara. This Dhruva Tara belongs to Dhruva Maharaj. And there's a beautiful story in Bhagavatam about this Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj again was a son of Uttanapada. Uttanapada was a great king of the again a whole world, whole universe. He was ruling the whole universe in one sense. So he was a son of Uttanapada Dhruva. And once at one day he wanted to go and sit on the lap of Uttanapada, being his son. He became very excited to go and jump and sit on the lap of Uttanapada. So Uttanapada had two wives, Suniti and Surichi. So Surichi was a stepmother of Dhruva. As soon as Surichi saw that now this Dhruva is sitting on the lap of Uttanapada, my husband, she forcefully bring Dhruva from the lap of Uttanapada and start chastising Dhruva Maharaj. She starts saying, because you have not taken birth from my womb, because of that, you do not have any right to sit on your father's lap. So if you really wants to sit on your father's lap, next lifetime, maybe you will become more fortunate and you will be able to sit on your father's lap, but not this lifetime. At this point of time, Dhruva became very angry. He was like a 5-year-old boy. He became so angry, so agitated, so disturbed. He was trembling. He was about to cry. He was in so much of bad, distressful mood that he said, I will take a revenge. So Dhruva became very revengeful. And what revenge he wanted to take? He said, I am going to get a bigger kingdom than my father. I am going to get a bigger kingdom than my father. And eventually, we know the whole story that after that, Suniti, the actual mother of Dhruva, speaks to Dhruva in a certain way, and then she inspires him to go to forest to do meditation and ultimately achieve the blessings, darshan of Krishna, Vishnu, and then actually get a bigger kingdom than his father, which is indestructible, Dhruvatara. So in this story, we can see sometime we criticize people, criticize somebody without having any compassion for them. So, whenever we criticize somebody without having any compassion for them, you do not know how this is going to change their life. In this case, it was positive because that was handled by Suniti at this point of time. But sometimes there may not be any Suniti who can counteract the agitation what you have created in somebody's mind by criticizing that person. So actually, we do not have any right to criticize anybody if we do not have compassion to help them. So what's the tagline? We do not have a right to criticize anybody if we do not have compassion to really help them. So you could see in your own situation sometimes, why do we criticize? Why can't we just appreciate person who is doing something to us? We criticize other people, we use our words like a sharp razor words to criticize somebody and that agitates them. But why not appreciate them and bring out something good in them? So Dhruva was a boy. This Surichi, by the words she used, she brought out the worst in Dhruva's personality. And what was worse in Dhruva's personality? Anger, revengeful mood, agitated. The whole body was trembling. That was worst of Dhruva's personality. So sometime unknowingly we can bring out the worst in a person's character by criticizing that person. And then we say why that person is acting in a certain way because we are not realizing that by our words we are wounding that person's heart. So curse by Shringi, we sometimes curse people with not realizing the power of our words. Then we also criticize people without having any compassion towards them. And sometimes we also misuse our word very playfully, Let us just joke around and make fun of other people and laugh at others people's expense. Isn't it? We do it sometimes. We have this kind of a tendency. Thus, one such thing happened in the case of, again in the Mahabharata, Draupadi and Duryodhana. So when The magic palace was constructed by Pandavas, the palace of illusion. At that point of time, Duryodhana was invited to enter into the palace of Pandavas. The magic was, the illusion was, it appeared, the place appeared to be water, but that was a land. So Duryodhana was very careful that he should not step on the land, on the water. But then when he actually put his step on the water, on that place, that was a land, not a water. He got illusion. He misunderstood the land to be water. And then when he moved forward, the water appeared to be land, and then he thought it is a land, and he put my foot there. Actually, he drowned in the water. He got wet. Seeing the whole fun, Draupadi started laughing. And Draupadi said, a blind father can only begot a blind son. So Dhritarashtra was a blind, he was the father of Duryodhana. And so basically she commented, Draupadi commented that you are a son of a blind person. You're also blind. Just to make fun, just to play, just to feel good about, and just to make laugh at somebody else's expense. And we know the whole Mahabharata was happened because of Draupadi. Now, there are different angles we can look at the story, that actually Krishna wanted to speak Bhagavad Gita, so Krishna made that as a whole situation as an instrument. But the lesson was what is need to be learned, that Duryodhana's heart became so revengeful that he said, I will teach you a lesson. The seed of the whole Mahabharata came from that one particular statement of Draupadi. The son of a blind person is also blind. So can you imagine? Sometimes the wars like Mahabharata can come only one statement of ours, just one statement. So we think, oh, I'm just joking, I'm just playing, but we do not know how, in what mood that other person is taking. I'm not saying joking and making fun is bad, or we should not enjoy our life, or we should be so overly careful with our words, but especially with people who are sensitive, who are egoically sensitive, and also people we do not have very close relationship with. We have not built a kind of a trust. And also there's a different ways by which you can express the same thoughts, same ideas, but not hurting, but encouraging that person. We'll come to that part. That's the second part of the whole discussion. So third is, in Draupadi's case, she was cutting jokes and it became the cause of the whole Mahabharata. Similarly, in our life also we can reflect back that sometime just one statement created the whole fiasco, created the whole troublesome life, created the whole warlike situations. Isn't it? It happens between leaders, world leaders. Somebody will speak certain thing about somebody. So, I mean, we do not know how it is being taken if you're not careful with our words. So now we can understand that yes, our words can really, really do damage to people, to our relationship, and it can create wars. It can create such a horrendous situation for the whole situation as such. So how many of you think that yes, the words have power, and if they are not being used judiciously, if they are not being used carefully, it can really. So what happens? Sometimes it is our own wound. Sometime we infuse in the words, and we make somebody else also wounded. So why do we do that? Because we have our own wounds. We want to express our wounds through our words, and we wound other people also. And if we are not responsible in using our words, if we are not responsible using our words, then we will become responsible for the suffering which comes out of it. If we are not responsible how we use our word, then we will become responsible for the situation, for the thing aftermath happens that. So either we use it judiciously earlier or we use it later on. So now, how many of you think that we need to see what is the solution for that? What do we do? Would anybody like to share what we should do in these cases? How we should we not speak at all? Should we just become a uh, just go in silence? Wow, silence. Then what's the solution for that? Would anybody like to
Definitely,
share?
yeah, definitely we should be silent and then use our judgment how to speak to that
Yeah.
person.
Yes. Use our judgment. So Krishna in this choose wrong from right. Choose wrong from right. I really didn't get Indra Mataji what yours. I mean, if you we will be willing to explain, choose wrong from right. So now let us see what solution Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna explains in the 17th chapter, 15th verse. He says, Anudvegam karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat swadhyaya abhyasanam cheva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Okay, know when to act and speak. Thank you so much for clarifying that, Indra. So Krishna is saying, vanmayam tapa uchyate. So basically, Krishna is categorizing this particular action as a austerity, as a tapasya. Tapasya means it is something which is difficult to perform, but you're taking a little bit of pain to perform that action. So where in the world would somebody hear this? The austerity of his speech. What we speak also should be done in a regulated way. And tapasya means fire. Tapaha, tap, tap, tap in the Hindi language means tap means fire, heat. Tapa is come from the heat, and tapasya means burning in the heat. We want to speak, the force is coming. We want to speak in a certain way, certain tone, forcefully and hitting badly with our words. Force is coming, but holding it back. Heat. There is a heat in it. There is a heat means that you have to forcefully not do something. So restraining something, not doing it. Tapasya. Tapasya means basically the austerity of his speech means that there has to be five filters. Anudvegam karam vakyam, whatever we speak, satyam, priyam, hitam. It should be truthful, it should be helpful, it should be pleasing, and it should be based upon scriptures. So basically, Krishna is giving four steps, four checklist. The first is if it is satyam, if it is truth. So sometime you may say, oh, you may speak which is not true, which is not factual things. So like spreading rumor mongering, spreading some rumors about somebody and back bitching and like spreading something false lies about some people. That is a clear break of the first principle what Krishna is teaching. Is speaking truthful always. Okay, I will speak truth, but that is truth. I'm speaking the truth to that person. My wife or my husband, let's say for example in somebody case my wife cooked something that was very salty. So I told you don't know how to make food. You're such a bad cook. It is very salty. The food is very salty. Yeah, it is truth. Food is very salty. But is it helpful for that person to hear that? Oh, you're a bad cook. You don't know how to make. You always do this. You never make things properly. It is truth. In a sense, the food is salty. But we also have mixed our own judgment with this truth and said in a certain way, which is very discouraging for that person. The first thing is It should be truthful. Only truthful is not important. It should also be helpful for that person. Okay, yes, it's helpful because if she don't know that she's not cooking properly, how would she improve? But speaking in a certain way which is more inspiring. First of all, putting a genuine appreciation. At least that person has put his effort in making something which is not cooking is not that easy. It's so painful. Women know that. So painful to cook. And if it's not genuinely appreciated for the efforts that person has put, there is no point in giving the that kind of feedback. So first appreciate and then you can inspire that person to cook better. And sometime, for example, it may be inspirational and let's say somebody is black. It is true that person is black. And let's say that person is blind also. Blind black person. And he doesn't know he's black. And he saw he's a black. His truth is he's black. It may be helpful to know, okay, he's black, but it may not be inspiring to hear that. And it may not be necessary for that person to hear. What is a necessity for that person to hear is a black person because he cannot see anyways. So necessity. Sometimes we speak certain things which are not necessary at all. It's truthful, helpful, but it's not necessity. And also, you may also want to speak necessary thing, but should be spoken in a kind way. If you're not speaking to somebody in a kind way, then again, it also discourages a person. Kindness again means compassion. Compassion means it is for that person's benefit. Sometimes, many of the time, speaking some harsh truth is about proving my point, justifying myself, proving myself superior. Not to help that person, but to prove me that I am better than you. You do not know anything. So when we speak in a kind way, kindness means is it really helping that person? Is it kind to speak that way? And that becomes THINK. Think. Truth. Is it truthful? T. Is it helpful? H. I. Is it inspirational? N. Is it necessary? K. Is it kind? Krishna is saying in the 17th chapter, 15th verse, that unless you speak, have those filters, no, I'm a good person, I don't keep anything in my heart. Yeah, I cannot also reveal your heart to everybody because your heart may not have pleasant things. Your heart may not have any kindness for that person or for that matter. So you may not be in the right state to reveal your heart because it may bruise somebody else's heart. So sometimes speaking your heart should not be bruising somebody else's heart because that is not kind, right? So that's one thing. Think, THINK. And second thing is what Arjuna himself does in the Bhagavad Gita, expressing your emotions, not finding fault or blaming somebody else. So sometimes expressing your emotions, not blaming that person is the right way. Because if you see in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna did not blame Kauravas. Arjuna did not blame anybody. He just expressed his emotions. Versus Duryodhana, he was blaming everybody. He opened his mouth by blaming Dronacharya. The first word what he spoke, Duryodhana, was blaming his own teacher. And first word what Arjuna spoke was to taking responsibility for his own emotions. That I am feeling, I'm experiencing, I'm feeling, my mind is reeling, I'm not able to stand here. I cannot withstand this situation. I'm getting completely lost. My hands are trembling. Expressing your truth, experiencing the emotions and expressing your emotions versus making other person responsible for it. So when you try to make somebody else is responsible for your pain and not taking responsibility for your own situation, then what happens? We break the relationship itself. So two things. Think, THINK. Is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it inspirational? Is it necessary? It is kind. Think. And second is express your emotions, take responsibility of your emotions, not blame and not put blame on somebody else. So when we do this thing, which is coming directly from Bhagavad Gita, first chapter and 17th chapter, so then we are in a better position to judiciously use the power of our words, because words are the beginning of everything. When I say everything, I literally means everything. The reason is the whole creation, the whole material creation has happened just because of words. Brahmaji heard two words, tapasya. And from there, he got a power, creative energy to be able to create the whole universe. And even if you study the third canto of Bhagavatam, from the words comes all the different material elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, they all comes from words. You can see, and even before we execute anything, we plan. What is planning? We speak about it. What is speaking? It is words, right? Using words to plan something and then eventually to create something. So creation happens because of words. And even creation of our spiritual life can also happen because of words. So, how can we use our words to uplift ourselves spiritually, not degrading yourself even materially? So, what do you all think? How can we use the words by uplifting ourselves spiritually, not degrading ourselves? Would anybody would like to share? How can we use our words so that we are uplifted spiritually, not degraded in any sense? The first thing what we can do, Krishna explains in the same verse, 17 chapter 15 verse, Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Chaiva. That our words we should read, we should speak in alignment with Vedic literatures. Our words should be backed up by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, by the reasoning and thoughtfulness of the Vedic literatures. When we have had sufficient thoughtfulness in our mind, we had that discussion even the last week about scriptures, smart formula. Hope some of you remember the smart formula, the smart way of hearing Krishna's voice. S was scriptures. When we read scriptures, our thought process is filled with scriptures. Then what we speak which is backed up and aligned with the Vedic literatures. The first thing what you could do is spiritual upliftment by the words is by reading Bhagavad Gita every day, so that when we speak in alignment with Krishna's teaching. And second thing what we can do is using the mantra. So mantra is also a word, but they are transcendental spiritualized words. They have a balming effect in it. The mantra is very balming for the soul. Like we have wounded words, we criticize, we make fun of people, we curse people, we kind of put them down. Wounding words, then we should have a the balming, which create a balming effect of our heart by using mantra. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are putting balm on our heart. And when our wounded heart becomes pacified, become healed, then what you speak will also be healing, not wounding. So the first effect of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is your heart becomes purified, your heart becomes healed. And from the healed and the complete and the purified heart, whatever comes from that heart will be very healing, will be very balming, will be very uplifting, will be very life enriching. So ultimately, the solution lies in these two things, by hearing Vedic literatures and by chanting the mantras. By chanting specifically for Kali Yuga, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I encourage all of you to use beneficially, judicially the power of the mantra. And when you start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you would see the tremendous amount of transformation is happening in your personal life, and you're able to move ahead much, much more. And your whatever you speak will be inspiring, encouraging, kind, and helpful and thoughtful in complete in itself. So we'll conclude here. And if anybody would like to share anything, anybody would like to ask, any comment, any realizations, we'll be happy to discuss that further.
Uh, definitely, Prabhuji. Definitely, Prabhuji. As you said, we have to, we instead of just speaking straight to that person, we should be thinking that what we are going to speak to that person in our mind. If it is good, then we should speak to others. But what about others, how they act, how they are, when they speak, they literally, think that, oh, we said to this person, in a fun way, we didn't meant to hurt that person. So, from your side, yes, when you are in a spiritual path, you want to be kind to that person. But what about others? How they are, how they think that how we should be, speaking, so that they don't understand.
Yeah, so basically, this is a whole training. How do we train ourselves in speaking in a compassionate way, compassionate communication? And how do we enhance, first of all, my own thinking? My own healing has to happen before I can actually express my truth. And a person is should also be able to take that truth in a positive way. So, one suggestion what I could give you is never ever blaming that person and giving making that person feel responsible for your pain. So your emotions are your responsibility. That person might have said certain things which might have hurted you, but same thing is spoken to somebody else, that person may not get hurt. I am getting hurt, you may not be getting hurt. For certain thing, you may get hurt, I may not get hurt. For certain thing, I may get hurt, you may not get hurt. For certain thing, right? So it is my own personal sensitivities, which is my own wound. So when we take, okay, I am experiencing, I am feeling hurt, I am feeling sad, I'm feeling objectively putting WIN. We said WIN, win formula. What happened exactly without
Mhm,
adding or deleting anything, as
mhm,
it is, without adding any garam masala, any mirch, any black
mhm,
pepper, any
mhm,
salt in it,
mhm,
as exactly what happened.
mhm,
What I felt inside me. I felt hurt, I felt sad, I felt whatever you felt, your emotions and your
mhm,
need. What you can request
mhm,
that person. Oh, you made me feel this way. Because of you, it happened. You are such a bad
mhm,
person. When
mhm,
you cannot really expect a kind response from that person.
mhm,
So, I mean, training ourselves to be able to be in that sattva guna, because that is sattvic communication. That is
mhm.
tapasya. That is burning of the heart.
Okay.
So, so words are very powerful. So, if we are not using our words carefully and
Mm,
judiciously, and
mm,
in with a person who really will maybe in a certain way which will enhance the closeness, which will decrease the pain, not
mm,
aggravate it further.
mhm,
Basically, we are becoming, it is a perfect ingredient for our own misery, our own miserable life.
mm.
So, understanding the words have power, using them very judiciously, very responsibly, will help you clarifying, first of all, things in your mind. And once the things are clear in your mind, then it becomes easier also to communicate that in a way that person will have a positive response.
So we should be, the way that person spoke to us is, that we should be thinking in our mind, in it should be in a two way, it is that, that oh, that's fine, he or she did not meant to say in that way, I just took it personally.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
in that way, I will lighten my heart, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And when you
Okay.
lighten up your heart,
Prabhu,
automatically, yeah,
so, just to follow up on that question, so, in the spiritual field or in relationships, I feel like, the strategy works. But what about when you're at work where you have to show command, where, you don't want to be a pushover by just always being kind and nice and those kind of things, because people are going to walk all over you. How do you change your words then? Because I feel like at some point you have to exert your presence. So there is not an element of fear, but an element of hierarchy or respect, so people don't just walk all over you.
yeah, yeah. Beautiful question. So it may work in a spiritual relationship way, but what about when you're in a setting wherein everybody is speaking those aggressive languages? And so there's a difference between being aggressive and being assertive. Assertive means speaking your truth. It is bold, courageous. It is bold and also considerate, courageous and compassionate. Just mute Bimbaji here. I think somebody is disturbing. So there's a difference between being aggressive and being assertive. So when everybody is speaking a certain way, commanding, top to down, demeaning and pushing, and you know, and if you are with these kind of people and you speak very softly, very kindly, very generously, they're gonna make you their doormat. Push you over and not gonna feel that you are strong at all. So assertive communication does not mean not speaking courageously, but compassionately. In your heart, there should be a compassion, and your words, there should be courage to speak the truth. Because truth is there, THING Satyam, it has to be spoken. If it is for the heat of people, it is for the heat of that person, helpful for that person, helpful for the community, it has to be spoken. But in a way which is not attacking that person. Always differentiate between the sin and sinner. Personality trait, calling out the personality trait versus calling out the person. So always when we have this distinction, is a clear distinction. It is a intelligence means being very distinctive. Distinction, how to use this principle in what way, in what setting. So courageous, not cowardliness. Cowardliness become passive, not assertive. It is tamasic, not sattvic. Like for example, Arjuna. Arjuna was not dealing with small people. He was dealing with his greatest enemy, Kauravas. Army much more powerful than the Pandavas. But he was speaking his truth. At the same time, he was doing his duty of fighting. So he spoke his heart out to Krishna in a certain way, which could be done with your near and dear ones. At the same time, when you're in the war field, the office becomes the place of action. Their action has to be done courageously. Sometime what happens, because we are not courageous enough to speak our truth, we become aggressive. We take the shelter of aggressiveness, harsh tone, cutting throat, and jumping over that person to hide our own weaknesses of not being able to call out my truth and that person's truth. So when I say that using this formula, it is all applicable because it is spoken by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes just practice or practical application may vary based upon the situation. Hope that clarifies you.
Thank you.
I couldn't. Yeah, we have one more question. Pradyumna Prabhu. Pradyumna, you had some questions,
Yeah,
please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, I have heard that first your class also that nice smart. We have to scriptures mantra. Then we have heard that Krishna is saying that no, that Satyam Priyam, all these things. But we have an what we can say that I have a limit or the thing I can tolerate. No? After that, I burst out. Take this thing up. For that, Krishna is saying what is saying that na Swadhyaya and Abhyasanam. So it will gradually it come. Na? How to understand, because it will take time. So Satyam Priyam, sometimes it is Satyam Priyam, okay, but sometimes Satyam Hitam, sometimes it is not Hitam, sometimes it is not Priyam, sometimes we are harsh. So how to, we have to Abhyas only and Swadhyay. So can you give little bit some words on Abhyas and Swadhyay and Abhyas? That was.
Yeah, so as you rightly pointed out that we have a kind of habitual conditioning, it kind of relate to previous question. We are conditioned to speak in a certain way, and how we can just all of us switch ourselves and not speak in a certain way because we have that momentum. The force comes, you can repress, 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 hold back, hold back, hold back, but suddenly you're gonna burst out. And when you burst out, it is gonna become create more issues. So basically, two things we need to understand. One thing is the repression is tamasic, is not sattvic. So Krishna is not asking you to repress your emotions. Could be related to first question as well. When you are expressing your emotions truthfully, true to yourself, and have that courage to speak out your truth in a way other person get it courageously and not hurting that person, but expressing your hurt, that very moment you're diffusing that repression. There's no repression anymore. It's like that. If in a pressure cooker there is no valve, what happens if there is no valve on a pressure cooker? It only knows one thing: how to burst. If there's a valve, it knows now pressure is building up, release the pressure. If it keep releasing the pressure at the right time by expressing your emotions, which is true to you, authentic to you, which is in a way other person get it, not hurting somebody else, then actually you're not repressing it. The whole sattvic communication, there is no point of suppressing, the point of transmuting. One thing. Second thing is abhyasana, what you're saying. Prabhupada gives an example. If a fan is running for a long time, if you switch off the fan, it is not going to stop immediately. It will take its own time to come to stop and to come to halt. So, whatever previous conditioning we have had of speaking, relating, using our words in a certain way, at least for one person in a day, let us start be conscious and choose conscious communication versus unconscious communication. Practice and only for 5 minutes, only with one person. Conscious, compassionate communication. Practice it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes based upon the Krishna's guidance. And then slowly, slowly, when we also follow other supporting uh, methods like chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which will help you healing your own wounds, and also reading Vedic literatures, which is Swadhyaya. So, with this constant efforts, we will be able to move through it. So, it's not like one day game changer, like quick fix. There's no quick fix here. If we have to speak, if we get to speak in a conscious, compassionate way, first of all, we have to become conscious of our own self, what is happening within myself. We have to receive Krishna's compassion and heal our own heart. Then only we can become conscious and compassionate to other person when we speak. So, in a way, if we start choosing this way of relating with people, we will be forced to uplift ourselves. There's no way out. It is not allopathic, it is Ayurvedic. You have to heal at the root of it. And then it will start coming out.
Oh,
So, yeah.
yeah. So, Prabhuji, so I would like to, so I should say that is it karma that is built with that person that he or she is sounding in that way, or is it like that though we are in the spiritual path and we know that Krishna Mahamantra is the absolute and the strongest, mantra that we are applying in our day-to-day life, and becoming very calm and polite to that person, no matter how much that person is giving to us.
No, no,
Or
please understand. Politeness, you don't have to be polite. Krishna is not asking you to be polite. Krishna is asking you to
okay,
speak your truth courageously. Politeness does
okay,
not mean having a softness.
mm,
That is one tone, but that is not what Krishna is saying. Please do not misunderstand.
okay,
Politeness is different. Sometimes you
okay,
can be very, very stern, very, very straightforward.
okay,
Being
okay,
straightforward is a sattvic communication, assertive
okay,
communication.
okay.
Be straight
That
to the
that
point. This is what
okay.
happened. That is how I
Hmm.
felt. I request
Hmm.
you to not do this again.
Okay.
As
Okay.
simple as this.
Okay. Okay. So in that way, I'm not harming that person, right? I
Yeah.
am not harming in my heart. I'm clear to that person. That is the best thing. I'm doing it right.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're not harming that person, not labeling that person, not name calling that person. Oh, you're a bad person. You always do like this. You never do like that.
Yeah.
When we use this kind of language, other person become defensive. And when
Yeah.
other person become defensive, there is no way out. You can actually have a productive
Yeah.
communication,
True.
right?
True.
So,
Yeah.
so again, going to the root of it, we need to uplift our consciousness. We need to become more conscious by ourselves. Then
Mm.
only in a practical situation, looking a person eyes to eyes,
Mm.
courageously,
Mm.
compassionately, courageously and compassionately, boldly, and in a way which is kind also. So both exist together.
Okay.
Yeah, Prabhu, yes, one point I just want to share. Just like na, in last class also, yeah, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
Just
Yes,
like
please.
in last class, I heard just today I have heard. Last time I was not available. So just like na, uplifting our consciousness, that thing and what the shloka you are quote that na, yasastir bhaktir bhagavati. These all things will automatically will come when we become more uplift our consciousness to Krishna on that practice na. What is abhyas? Then automatically this thing will come. Is that?
Yeah, I mean both need to be done. The practice and uplifting your consciousness. So also need to be kind. So being empathic, being compassionate is also upliftment of my consciousness. Sometimes people can, oh, uplifted my consciousness, and can be very proud of that and not caring for anybody. So also means you know that what is really upliftment of consciousness means. Sometimes we may think, oh, I have uplifted my consciousness, but still you're going and I can do whatever I say, I can say whatever I want, it will not hurt people. No, it's not going to happen like that. So choosing whom to speak, how to speak, when to speak, and to what degree to speak is intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Hope that clarifies you, Pradyumna.
Yeah, yeah. Prabhu.
Anybody else have any other comment, any other realization to share, anything else to? I'm just receiving something here.
Prabhu, can you once repeat that part? Scriptures, mantra, then association. What was
The last session was scriptures, mindful awareness, reflect, and transcendence, and
it?
turning other people to other people.
Okay, thank you.
So now I would like to just hear one point from each one of you. If you like to share what is your one learning, one takeaway, one thing which you like to meditate before tomorrow's next class. Anybody would like to share one pulse of wisdom? And I'll stop the conversation.
I
Prabhuji,
can go.
namaste.